That's the best I
Okay.
can do.
It is June 23rd,
All day.
0900, and we have a few things happening. Should be a relatively short open session. Let's keep it that way.
Motion to adjourn.
Prior to Priority Carol, as we always do, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
And justice for all.
Okay. Let's go right into Priority Carol. Commissioner Frazier, what's on your mind?
Okay, we have Commissioner Boucher and I did a walk in the park at Crimgold Park. I think there's some pictures of show up. No? They'll be up later. But anyway, walk in the park at Crimgold Park. I have to say, of course, the weather was very nice that day. So it was the largest turnout I can remember for a walk in the park. I missed the first one because I actually had something else to do. It was very cold that day as well. But anyway, so I've been to, I think there's a third one, fourth, whatever it's been. Been to a
Losing
few of
track.
them. And Commissioner Boucher's been here as well. So it was a nice mile walk. I think that trail's a mile. So that was nice. And they have another trail that goes outside, around the perimeter park. It's 1.9 miles. It's more of a nature walk. I haven't done that one yet, but I brought the brochure home, showed it to my wife. She says, we got to get down there and do that. So we probably will be down there on a day that's
Make
not
sure
that
you
hot.
put off on or something when you go out into the woods.
Oh, yeah, because I was told that goes up through the trees and everything else. Yeah. Oh,
Chicks
yeah.
out there.
Oh, there we go. There's pictures. I'm so far in front you can't see me. No, I'm just kidding.
And some drone action.
There was
photos.
actually, I was impressed with the drone. Have to say that the drone went in front of us, behind us. It did a really good job. I don't know who that guy is, but
I thought it was a giant wasp flying over us.
well, when you hear it coming, it's like, what is that? You know it's
Aliens.
coming. Yep, it was good. Okay, I also went to the Juneteenth celebration in the city of Westminster. It was the first one that they've had. Pretty well attended. For the first one, people don't know about it and so forth, so it wasn't packed, but it was a good attendance there. They had a band. When I was there, they had one band. I think they might have others. They had speakers. They talked about what Juneteenth meant, and it was well done. It was well done. I think it will grow in popularity as it continues because it was the first one. And like a block away was the barbecue and beer stroll for the city of Westminster. I have to say, I was amazed at how big that was. I can't remember how many blocks it went, but it went longer than I thought it would be. I mean, lengthwise. And it was packed. It was packed. I guess people like beer and barbecue. I don't know. So, and they had, I think, 3 different areas where music was being played and so forth. It was really a great time. A lot of people there, a lot of, camaraderie, people talking and walking. It was very, very well done. And, people want to get out now. And I think that's why it was packed. Say that. And I have to say, when I was there, I did some axe throwing. First time I thrown an axe, but let's just say I hit the target almost every time.
Did a stick or bounce off?
No, only one time did it not stick. Every other time was hitting that target right on. Of course, the axe aren't like the ones you have at your house. These are weighted and they're made to throw, and so it was a little easier. But
You could have said it was your excellent skill and talent that did it.
it was a combination.
All right.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, there was no. That's it. That's it.
Commissioner Weaver.
I just want to say I had a chance to attend the planning and zoning for the first time in several years the other day. Very, very nice meeting. They have a full board now. I think that's working very well. I was impressed with that. And we had the joint meeting with the Fire and EMS Advisory Committee the other day. Here again, communication is the key to everything going on, and now and in the future. And it's nice to be able to hear everybody's views and where we're going and putting this fire and EMS service together. And Commissioner Rothstein and I were together yesterday at the Veterans Advisory Committee. Yes, Tuesday. There's a Veterans Advisory Committee, and here again, another committee that meets once a month, only for 1 hour, They are on a strict time limit, don't go over an hour, and to get the job done, I'm really impressed the way they handle it and what they do.
And congratulations to Bill Nash and Steve Whistler for taking over the helm.
Yep.
And thank you so much to Mark Fisher for all he's done in running that as the leader of the Veterans Council. Commissioner Boucher.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
We switched that. Yep.
I want to read off some of the new hirees for the county. It's always a pleasure to do this and welcome the new people on. Anthony Nodule, Construction Inspector Engineering. Amanda Poor, Emergency Communications Assistant Manager, Public Safety. Ivy Story, Office Associate, Department of Public Works. Lauren Sidnor, Office Associate, Personnel Services and Human Resources. Nicole Gibson, Program Specialist, Citizen Services. Ashley Kane, Resource Management Intern, Land and Resource Management. Deborah Lester, Farm Museum. Rachel Petkulkeski, or I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering the name, please forgive me, Paralegal, State's Attorney's Office. Welcome aboard. As Commissioner Frazier had mentioned, we did the walk in the park at Crimgold. That's right up the street from my house. They gave me a list of people attended. I want to give them some credit and read off their names. Michelle Melton, Susan Adder, Paul Barkley, Audrey Novak, Kathy Lowe, Lauren Harrison, John Hubbs, Maggie Roser, Michelle Farino, Rick Meehan, Barb Meehan, Lou Ann Beck Day, who is with LifeBridge Partnership. She is such a special player in making this happen. I want to give a special thanks to her. Karen Davis, and I want to give a real big special thanks to my colleague, Commissioner Frazier. He has been very active on this. He is my fellow partner in walking, and I like that he recognized how important it is for public health to get out and utilize the resources we have with Parks and Rec. Also did, well, that's neat. The video is pretty cool. Also did a Memorial Park story stroll, and that is through Tawnytown Parks and Rec, along with the Boy Scouts and the library. Tawnytown Recreation Parks, along with the library, have partnered to create a story stroll at Memorial Park. Construction of the story stroll stations was done by William Schmock as an Eagle Scout project with the guidance from community member Tim Beavers. The Memorial Park is located off Maryland 140 at Park Drive in Tawnytown. And I also went out to Fleet Management and talked to some of the mechanics out there. Here's Brian Stefan. He's working on brakes. It looks like a work truck for the county. And this is Mark Kennedy. He was out there cutting. There's some live action photo, doing some cutting and welding, maintaining a mower for the county. I really want to give these guys recognition. These individuals out there in these facilities are behind the scenes, keeping everything running for us, and they deserve a big special thank you from all of us. So thank you very much.
Okay. This week, it was my turn to do a chamber breakfast talk, and appreciated those that were in attendance and the dialogue we had over at Eldersburg Library. And again, credit to the Chamber of Commerce keeping things moving, and the activities that they do. I think tonight is the kickoff for their what do you call it? Not Shark Tank event.
Challenge.
Biz Challenge. Yeah, their Biz Challenge, and that'll be over in the Westminster Mall this evening. We did again attend the Veterans Council. I'm always appreciative of listening, learning to those in attendance and participating. The value of us participating, and Commissioner Weaver shared this, with all of the committees and commissions and activities is really where the rubber meets the road. And, we cannot do what we do unless we have, if we don't take the opportunity to be with our community. And, they're the eyes and ears. It ain't this ivory tower that we live in here. It is the eyes and ears that are in our community that will prioritize the work we do. So the Veterans Council, the Planning and Zoning, the Board of Aging Disabilities, and it goes on and on. So I really, again, appreciate all of that. We finished up the Sykesville Carnival last week, and I think that went off really well. Fireworks were on Friday. I'm a proud Freedom Lion, and we did very well in the French fry stand. So, really proud of the work. If people don't know what to join or what to participate in, there are a lot of community organizations like the Lions Clubs that enjoy giving back. So, a little promo for them this morning. Okay, with that, let me walk into a proclamation. Commissioner Boucher.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the honor of delivering this proclamation. I was born in 1967, so I was 5 years old when the Agnes flood hit, and I very much remember it. Even though I was a child, it was such a tremendous, tragic event to take place. And with that proclamation, Hurricane Agnes Remembrance Week, June 19th, 2022 through the 24th. Carroll County was impacted by Hurricane Agnes, which devastated the East Coast from July 19th to the 25th, 1972, and 2022 marks the 50-year anniversary of Hurricane Agnes. This storm remains one of the worst disasters ever to impact Carroll County or Maryland, and during the historic weather event, Carroll County experienced widespread flooding in ravine and urban areas. This flooding caused damage and flood losses to homes and buildings. In the aftermath of Agnes, nationwide losses estimates exceeded 3.1 billion. Maryland sustained over 110 million, with Carroll County's damages estimated at 10 million, including an estimated 5 million in road damage. Power, water, sewer, and telephone services were disrupted for days as the water receded. Flooding and erosion caused an estimated 1 million in damage to local farms. Floods are the most common natural disaster in the United States and can happen anytime, threatening property, life, and the economy. A storm of similar strength and devastation will likely strike Maryland again. The reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flooding preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before a flood, and public education awareness of potential weather hazards and other methods of protecting are critical to health, safety, and welfare of residents. As Carroll County reflects on Hurricane Agnes and our resiliency during the disaster, we aim to increase knowledge of flood risks, the availability of flood insurance, flood protection methods, and how to prepare for emergencies. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Carroll County Commissioners, in coordination with the Maryland Association of Floodplain and Stormwater Managers, do hereby proclaim July 19th to the 24th, 2022 as Hurricane Agnes Remembrance Week in Carroll County, and further encourages citizens of Carroll County to increase their knowledge of how to protect themselves and their property from flooding. Carroll County Board of Commissioners, thank you very much.
Chris, Pat, did you want to come on up and have a seat? I know the three of us are old enough to remember Hurricane Agnes.
Yeah.
I was in New Jersey, and driving back from the beach. I was not driving, my parents were, and I just remember signs flying all over the place as we were coming back into the town, and unbelievable. I think I was 10 or 11, whatever it was, but just an unbelievable sight.
The
So,
force of that water was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I remember seeing where buildings were just gone.
Yep.
And one thing you learn, don't build in a low area. Right from stormwater management.
or on stilts next to the beach, for that matter.
I was envisioning Commissioner Rothstein driving back at 10.
He's older than he looks.
Anything you want to
Well, actually, I wasn't in Maryland at that time, so I
That's right.
wasn't impacted
Yeah.
by Agnes as everyone else was.
That's right. So, okay. What are your thoughts?
Sure, yeah. Just to say a few things, Commissioner Boucher, thank you for that. As you mentioned, it's in coordination with the Maryland Association of Floodplain and Stormwater Managers. Carroll County, about 20 years ago, was one of the founding members, and we're still active in the association today. As you may not be aware, but Carroll County received the most rainfall from Agnes in the state, just east of Westminster. Carroll County is obviously considered mostly a headwater county, but when you receive almost 15 inches of rain in 24 hours, you're going to have significant flooding. And part of the idea behind this is a storm like this could happen again at any time. And we need to further educate folks. We need to be ready for something like that. So I'd like to touch on, we have a couple websites that we've worked on. One is for Carroll County, and one is kind of a multi-jurisdictional project with other federal and state jurisdictions in the Mid-Atlantic. You can find both of those websites on our website if you just go to the Carroll County government site and search for Agnes. There are about 70 pictures of flooding around Carroll County. It's a really neat project. And obviously I'd like to invite you personally, as well as anyone watching, out to the Flood Zone Brewery on Saturday. We're having an event there from 1 to 4 to commemorate Agnes. As you may or may not know, the Flood Zone Brewery was a grocery store during Agnes, and they have a high water mark in the brewery. There are a number of photos around the brewery, and ones that I'll also be displaying at that time, where groceries were auctioned off and the building was being cleaned out. So I'd like to invite everyone out to that. It should be a good time. And lastly, I'd like to thank you all for your continued support of our program.
And people get to hear me read the proclamation again.
That's right.
Mr. Varga, I want to let the people know that when I first came on board as county commissioner, I was very much concerned about the flooding in Union Bridge, and you stepped up to the plate. You took me out there and you showed me the flood zone area, not the facility, but the actual floodplain itself. You've educated me on stormwater management, and you were instrumental in ensuring that floodplain was analyzed by Army Corps engineers to recommend what we need to do long-term to solve their problem. I just want to sincerely express my gratitude to you for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Chris, you want to do a photo op? Sure. You want me to take a picture of you?
Don't sound too enthusiastic.
See if I have to.
Twist my arm.
All right. I didn't get swept away with the flood. Who wants this? I get to stand next to the big guy.
All right here, please.
We should get Chewy in here for a photo op.
Excellent, thank you.
Like a walk in the park, that
Matt
mess
takes
up.
one picture and walks away, you take 27.
You're right. Hopefully he's watching.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Remember, no building in
You ready to eat and
no
drink?
building in floodplains.
exactly.
That's why I gotta read it again.
If I could,
Second time
before,
be the charm.
Is it?
Okay.
Commissioner?
if I could, before we move on, I just wanted to express my thanks both to Pat and to Janet for supporting what Pat's been doing. He's been doing a phenomenal job over the past couple of months compiling all this information. As Pat indicated, public education is a key component of everything that we're doing. And what Pat has been doing for the past couple months has been absolutely fantastic. If you get a chance to take a look at the website that he put together, some really great information and very professional looking.
Yeah, and Chris, it's becoming more difficult with newspaper not being available and how to reach out to the media to share these type of things. So I think we just need to continue to be innovative in getting the message out. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Steckel, Maureen, why don't you come on up and talk about outdoor LED sign. Purchase of one each, maybe.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Ladies.
Carroll County Bureau of Aging and Disability solicited 3 quotations to purchase one full-color outdoor LED sign with a Fox brick structure for the Bureau of Aging and Disabilities. We request your approval to purchase this sign from Fast Signs in the amount of $39,878.80. This cost includes the material, the labor, and the installation. This amount has been approved through budget, and no additional funds should be needed. And I'll turn it over to Celine and Becky if you have any questions.
I just wanted to say that we're pretty excited about this signage. It's similar to the sign at Workforce Development. So it will allow us to utilize web-based technology to do real-time updates to the messaging on the sign, It will be in color, it can provide pictures, and really draw the attention to folks that are driving by. And we have a very active road because we're close to the hospital and other senior living agencies where we can market our events, what we're offering at the Bureau at the time, and any upcoming awareness days that people should be thinking about and engaging with us for. So we are excited to have this type of technology installed. So we are hoping for your approval today to move forward with this purchase.
How fast will Fast Signs put the sign up?
I don't know, I'm gonna have to go on their website and
Okay.
track how fast they can do it.
Modern
Is
technology
the
is
intent
wonderful.
to put them at each senior center or just this one at this time?
Just, this is going to be our first installation, and if it works out, and we can look at the other locations to make sure how the cost of where the infrastructure would go, as far as the electric needed, we certainly want to make sure that we can look at that option in the future. Because
So,
I think
yeah.
it would be great for all the centers.
So this is going to go on Stoner Avenue or, okay, Stoner
Center.
Avenue, okay.
It's replacing the old county sign, the brown signage that all
Right.
the different
Right.
county buildings have. So
Gotcha.
we'll be installing it right there.
So you said the value of the sign. What would you consider the sign being of value?
This-
What- You said we'll determine whether it should go to other locations by seeing if this is, valued or
To
of
determine
good
the
use.
value would be, are we drawing on additional people
Okay.
that wouldn't have known about our programming if we didn't
Okay.
have that signage out there? Are we having a good response from the senior living community next door? Because people are now seeing the sign, the information advertised there. And we have that similar situation in some other communities with our senior centers, like at the Mount Airy Senior Center that's close to other senior living facilities. And that would allow them the access when they're driving by or going somewhere to see what programming we're offering.
Great
Just a different
advertising.
opportunity to get the word out to folks.
Okay. I'll move the Board of Commissioners approve the purchase of one full-color outdoor LED sign from Fast Signs in the amount of $39,878.80.
Second.
I got a motion second. Any discussion on this? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Commissioners.
Happy advertising.
Celine, you get to stay. And you get to talk about approving the transfer of the FY 2022 annual housing bond allocation.
So I'm joined by Danielle Yates, our Bureau Chief for Housing and Community Connections. And as you said, we are seeking your approval to authorize $6,636,938 in bond allocation to the state's Department of Housing and Community Development, the Maryland Mortgage Program, on behalf of Carroll County. This initiative is an annual state bond issue used to promote home ownership. The program offers local governments the opportunity to partner with the state to provide mortgage funding for first-time home buyers. In the last 3 years, we've seen the following growth. In 2019, we had 25 participants with receiving almost $6 million. In 2020, we had 49 participants receiving almost $12 million worth of funding assistance. And in 2021, we had 37 participants with just over $9 million awarded for their support of purchasing a home. And we are looking to again, on behalf of Carroll County, allow DHCD to continue to administer this for us.
Director Steckel, how successful is this long-term? Are these people successfully maintaining their houses? Or
So that we're aware of, yes. So what happens is when they do the Maryland Mortgage Program, they're actually offered lower fixed rates and 30-year mortgage terms that you can't typically get on your own. They also provide lending assistance as far as for their down payments, and they structure things a little bit easier for individuals being the first-time home buyer.
Ms. Yates, thanks for explaining that, because I was wondering why the private sector wouldn't provide this type of thing, but we're filling a gap to bring these people up, basically, and they're successfully meeting the requirements.
Yes, and with the state, of course, there are over 60 lenders that the state works with in Carroll County alone. So they have a very robust program already intact, so it's easier for us to let them administer the program. And then we, of course, just make the referrals and provide the information to Carroll County residents when they come in and ask for
Now,
information.
homes sell fast. How fast are these administered?
So the kicker is they have to do an actual home buyers education class, so they can do that at any time.
Okay.
They're offered in Howard and Frederick County, very close to us. Once they get that certificate, they can immediately work with any lender and get that qualification and be up and going in no time flat.
Okay. Just curious.
I noticed I think you said last year there was $9 million in loans that were put out, and this year it's only 6.6.
So if you look, for this year, 2022, as of the end of February so far, we've had 24 participants or households and about $6.7 million. But we're not through the fiscal year, so there will
So we
be-
could get more money if more people are applying for
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
Okay.
So what happens is, while it's a designated $6 million, what happens is there's a big pot that the state has, and if we go over that $6 million, individuals just take from that pot as well.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yes.
Well, with that, I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the authorization of $6,636,938 in bond allocation to the state DHCD's Maryland Mortgage Program on behalf of Carroll County and sign the statement of conditions for participation.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion, I got a second. Just comment, and it's not to be callous, because I'm typically not, subsidizing folks and using our taxpayers' money and our community's money to subsidize folks in buying homes, is challenging sometimes. And should we be using, money for this to subsidize, 50 homeowners, potential homeowners? That's a lot of money. That could be used for other services. So, although I think this is a very good idea and a necessity, to a healthy family and a healthier community, the risk associated with it is that we're subsidizing. At the end of the day, that's what this is. This is a subsidized approach, whether it comes from the state or it comes from the county or wherever. So doing this, I just want to make sure we're doing this with our eyes wide open, because I agree with this, and you know that, but it gets to me when I look at things that are subsidized. I'm like, okay, how are we subsidizing this? Is this a very targeted audience? And there's got to be a balance. So I don't know if anybody has thoughts on that.
Well, I look at something like this like an investment in the community.
Yeah.
You're allowing people to become homeowners that couldn't normally do that because they don't qualify because of the amount of money they're making or whatever the conditions are. So this is and as everyone knows, if you own the house, it's kind of put more into it. You take care of it a little bit better. I mean, not that renters are bad people or anything, but it's just another step up. And you're looking at the long-term investment in the community, and I just think it is a very good program to have. People that can't quite make it, but this will help them make that step to home ownership. I think that's what we want to do.
Okay.
This is bonding. They pay a loan back, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like we're just
yes.
giving them money.
No,
we're
they're not.
we're structuring the loan so they pay
Right.
it
So
back.
what it is that, yes, they're structuring the loan to make it a little bit easier for those first-time home buyers to achieve success.
Thanks for the clarification.
Right. But I mean, it's still subsidized. I mean, you're still giving an advantage. So
Right. That's true.
yeah, I mean,
I'll
just
probably
think it
speak out of
is
turn,
worthwhile
but,
advantage.
we know that, and we understand we want everyone to be successful.
Yep.
That's why we've incorporated our housing stability team to work with individuals, and we're also looking at getting someone certified to be a housing counselor as well. So, we see those needs. We're trying to meet those needs within the community, and we hope very soon to have that counselor in place so we can provide additional supports as well for
So-
success.
which I understand. Resource management is time, people, and money. So now we are spending more money on hiring counselors and others representing our county to support the community's efforts. Again, I'm not so much against it. I just want to make sure we all understand that, this is another way to subsidize a community, to strengthen the community, but we're doing it very deliberately. Because I won't say being a true conservative or whatever I am, I mean, I just believe that we should lessen the subsidies and allow the community to grow on its own merits. But you're right, sometimes we need a leg up or something to strengthen. But yeah, that's what this is. So
It's true, and I have to say about the counselors, if you're going to lend people this money to get their first home, we want to make them successful. Therefore, the counselors help them manage things and I guess put out a plan so they get repayment and all that stuff, so they know what they're going into and they have a little bit more information. The more information you have, the better off you are when you're executing a plan. And so I like the idea of the counselors. I like the idea that they have to take some type of short course before they're eligible for this, because now I'm ready for that loan. I understand what it takes to repay that loan. I just think it's a good program. And I have to mention this. When I bought my first house, interest rates in Maryland were around 13% back then. It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a different world.
There was a program that I applied for, and I got like, instead of 13.5, I got like 12.0 or whatever it was. A little bit lower interest rate. Didn't make a big deal difference, but it was enabled me to buy that first house. I didn't have to go through any counseling or anything of that sort, but because of that program, and I don't remember the program back then, but because interest rates were so high, I think they were just offering things like that to people to try to get some home ownership. And it, like I said, enabled me to have my first house, and now I had a second. Now I'm on my third house. And if it wasn't for that program, would I've gotten the first house? I don't know. I might have anyway. But it did help me to do that. And I think this is a very similar program.
yeah, and I agree. I mean, as a veteran, I've used the VA, which is another tool to use to purchasing homes that does allow a subsidy that lowers risks or lowers interests, or no down payments. But I mean, again, it's just knowing that we're doing this is important.
I understand.
So okay.
And long term, we have to look at the children that are raised in these homes, because I think statistically speaking, children are much more successful in home ownership than transition around in rental properties. So this is ultimately an investment in our children and their stability. So thank you.
Stability is always key.
And I think the one other thing that we have been really promoting with HUD and with the Department of Housing and Community Development is every chance that we get, we remind them that the funding that they provide and the way that they create those funding streams really ties to the need for funding for services for housing also. So the support in housing that we have with our housing stability coordinators, because that is not always funding that comes down through their grants and the different opportunities. So that is one thing that we continue to go back, not just our agency, but all the jurisdictions are reporting the same, that there's a need for funding for these services to help support people, because it's not just the housing, it's the support once they're in there to maintain that housing.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely not the Grinch. I want this to succeed. So
And I will put this plug out there, it's all about return on investment. So when
That's
we're
right.
subsidizing folks, to keep them housed and to maintain that housing is so much more important and so much more cost effective to have them housed and do services and keep them, within, get
Sure.
them, help them to become employed, help them to become successful. Then we don't have other things that come up on the back end where we need to support them in other ways, which is another cost associated that we'd have to, that the
Right.
county sometimes takes on.
But
So-
but sitting here making these decisions, we are making decisions on what to subsidize and what not to subsidize.
Correct.
That's the reality.
Sure
So,
is.
okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
know this is very satisfying of a career for both of you, so thank you for what you
Okay,
do.
approval, no, did that. Water and sewer master plan, spring amendment.
Like we do this every spring or something.
Seriously?
All right, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are here today to present to you the spring amendment to the Water and Sewer Master Plan. As you know, we do this about twice a year depending on the request. So we have two requests, one from Hampstead and one from Union Bridge today, and Price will present you what he showed to Planning Commission the other night and their favorable recommendation to move forward with this request. So with that, I'll turn it over to Price.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Bryce.
As Linda said, yes, this is our spring amendment, which we do our amendments twice a year, typically spring and fall. There's a good possibility you'll see me again late fall, early winter for our fall amendment cycle. But this is for the spring amendment. And as you probably already know, why do we amend this plan? Well, the Water and Sewer Master Plan occurs every 3 years, the triennial update. And in the interim time, we have what we call biannual amendments, which allow municipalities, providers to update as needed, instead of having to wait every 3 years to do something, especially if somebody is needed to get in the plan to, for purposes of development, that type of thing. So they're biannual. Individuals can actually, homeowners can actually request an amendment, or the town or system operators request amendments. Those are the two big ones that actually happen. And every so often, staff can look at it and do amendments, but typically it is the first two, individual homeowners, and then the town system administrators are the ones that actually bring the amendments forward to us. So as Linda said, we have two amendments, one for Union Bridge Water and Sewer Service Area, and then one for the Hampstead Sewer Service Area. And for the Hampstead Sewer Service Area, Commissioner Weaver already heard this presentation early this week, but that is for the IDA property, which is the Industrial Development Authority. Two of their parcels, Tract 2 and Tract 1 of Parcel 762. They are, Parcel 2 is partially within the service area as is. So it's 18 acres, which are in future, with the balance 21 acres already being in priority. The Tract 1 is totally within the future aspect. So the town has requested for that portion to come totally in the priority, and for the 18 acres in future that are in Tract 2 to come into priority as well. This will come from the Trenton Mills Farm Partnership. They've reached out to the partnership, have not heard back. However, they just, with working with them and knowing the Trenton Mills Farm Partnership, they believe moving them to future and creating the ability to utilize that demand that's in priority right now for the IDA is in the best for the town itself. And then finally, Union Bridge, as you'll see them move forward, 526 Green Valley Road and 536 Green Valley. As you'll see, this is actually part of the Union Bridge community soil that's going in. Those two, these two homes that are on that parcel are in the process of being subdivided out. So as you see, the IDA properties, this property up here is totally within the future, which we want to bring into the priority. And then this property, which is the second tract, is split. Partial in future, partial in priority. So they want both of these to be totally in priority to better allow IDA to market these properties for development. And so anybody that comes in will be able to tie into the sewer service area at this point in time. And these properties are currently in the existing or priority for water. This is the Trenton Mills property, which is within the city limits, town limits of Hampstead. So this property will pretty much provide about 75% of the demand needed for the properties. And there will be some movement from future into priority that is already demand calculated. So we're just we're flip-flopping and bringing in priority, which is needed, and put it into future, which right at this point in time, there is no possibility, or not possibility, but there is no notion of development going on in the Trenton Mills Farm property. This portion right here, this is a Union Bridge, and the reason it looks kind of crazy looking is I talked with MDE. The two houses that are on this property are down here underneath this rectangle, and the developer of the property, again, is looking to subdivide those two homes out, that farm out, which is roughly 35 acres, and the balance of it will be the solar facility. In the meantime, what they're going to do is the developer will actually put in it'll be a private line from those two houses up and connecting to the public sewer for Union Bridge, and also vice versa, the same thing for water. Talking with the state, they are okay with a private easement going up and private sewer and water lines. And with this being mostly in the floodplains, you'll see in a map in a little bit, there is no further potential for development of that portion that's going to be subdivided out. Right now, it's currently farmed, and that is what is the plan is to be for the foreseeable future. So again, you'll see this is how the map will look for Hampstead should these go forward. The IDA properties now will be completely within priority. This will move to future, which is again 7 to 10 years, so it still gives them the ability to one day tie into the sewer service area. But again, the town felt that the IDA properties are better suited for priority right now for development, as there may be potential suitors coming down the pike. Here is the overall Union Bridge. This portion here is the whole property, and then as you'll see it in a slide, I believe for the water aspect, you'll see there's the potential for subdivision, which has already been, that aspect has been brought forward to the town, is to sort of cut across this aspect and subdivide out the bottom third of the property, or quarter of the property. Again, the capacity, there's a little bit of change as we are moving some capacity from future into the priority aspect. It's cumulative, so those future numbers don't move, but the priority numbers do go up as we're bringing those forward to utilize the demand that may be needed, bringing in those two parcels. And for the Union Bridge water service area, it's the exact same look. Again, it's the same two houses, sort of the same aspect of how they're going to do, which is a private easement with private water utilities going up and tied into the Union Bridge system itself. So here's the map that I created and sent to MDE to sort of give an idea. Outlined in blue is the community solar in Union Bridge, GB Community Solar, and the white line is the approximate area of where the subdivision will occur. So everything to the north of this line will still be the community solar, and mostly will all be solar panels. Down here is the farm, which is approximately 35 acres. And if you're able to see the light blue underneath, that is all floodplain. So that shows that the majority of the property is within the floodplain, and development for further residential will be tough. So farming wise, they've been doing this for, I believe, centuries, because the original farmhouse, I believe, was built in the 1800s, and there's a tenant house on site. So that is sort of what we're looking at doing, is just bringing those two houses in. That'll be a total of 500 gallons. And the reason you may notice that the tables have not been adjusted for water and sewer for Union Bridge is being 500 gallons and the different, and all of the potential demand that is on the industrial portion of the land where the solar is going. 500 gallons would not eliminate anything that could go forward down the road. So that is the reason we did not change the tables, because even if we did add the 500 gallons, it'd be so minuscule the numbers wouldn't move at all. Overall, here is the overall of way Union Bridge would look like. So yes, you'd have this spur coming down, but again, it's to cover those two properties. The sewer, the septic system is in the process, so they've looked at it and is in the process of failing. The reserve area, in actuality, is on the portion of the property that will now become solar. So this is one reason they realize, okay, we need to do something. And as they're doing it, I believe their well is doing okay, but might as well, since we're going through the process, bring them in so they can tie into the water service area. So they may go ahead and tie into the service area, so it's all done at once instead of having to come back and open up the ground again. They're just going to do everything all at once, put both lines in, and then tie in as needed. So what have we done so far? As you saw, we've updated the maps, the demand tables. both Union Bridge and Hampstead have certified the consistency with their comprehensive plans and master plans. And this past Tuesday, Carroll County, our planning commission did certify consistency with our comp and master plans. So what we're here today is asking for the board to proceed to a public hearing for the 2022 spring amendment to the 2019 Water and Sewer Master Plan.
Will this public hearing be one in Hampstead and one in Union Bridge, or are we having one public hearing
It'll be
here?
one public hearing concurrent.
Here at the county
Correct.
office building?
Yes. And will be, and should this go forward with the recommendation of public hearing, I will run into Carroll County Toms on the 14th.
No, this the 30th and
30th,
the 7th.
thank you. The 30th and 7th for the public hearing to be on the 14th.
Well, Mr. Wagner, that was a very detailed briefing. I appreciate it, especially the maps to give us an idea where it's at. Director Eisenberg, did you have anything to add to this?
No, I do not. Thank you.
All right. Well, then I move that the Board of County Commissioners proceed with the public hearing for the 2022 spring amendment to the 2019 Water and Sewer Master Plan.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion second. The only comment I'd make is, again, like I referenced earlier, the Carroll County Times is getting less and less, I won't say valued, but subscription. That's anecdotal on my part. I don't know the numbers, but I believe it is less. So getting the word out for public hearing, I think that is what we do by our rules. But we do want to make it as available as possible for those that want to participate in public hearing. So I ask us to look at other ways to get to the communities that are of interest, like reaching out to Hampstead and Union Bridge, saying, hey, this is happening, we're putting it in the paper, but please, during your next meetings, your council meetings, let people know. And so it's continuing, because we've got to be a little bit more innovative in getting the word out, and that's just
Right,
sign
so
of the
we
times.
actually do all of that. The reason we
Okay.
say the Carroll County Times is Maryland law requires
Sure.
us to put it in
Yep.
there. So that's why
Yep.
we say it, because that is checking the
Yep.
boxes that
Yep.
we've met the law. But we do all of those other things.
Okay,
We send out
good.
press releases, we post it on our website. The towns are very well aware. They've pushed it out.
Okay, good.
The reason we do the hearing here is because we process this plan on behalf of the towns to Maryland Department of the Environment.
Right.
So none of this is approved until it goes to MD
Right.
and they sign back their approval.
Yep.
When was your proposed date again?
The public hearing proposed date is July the 14th.
Okay. Just in case somebody asks.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I got a motion. I got a second. Any further discussion? Seen here none. All in favor? Aye.
Great, thank you.
Good
Thank you
job.
very much.
Okay, let's talk about FY23 town-county agreements, Sykesville, Hampstead, and Tawnytown. Mr. Zaleski.
Okay, so we're starting our next round. You have 3 of the towns have sent back their agreements. We have Sykesville, and Roberta just handed you a spreadsheet that probably make this a little easier to handle. We tell you that there's a gross amount and a net amount. The gross amount is what's determined to be the revenue sharing number. But we have a couple cooperative efforts with the towns. One is the towns pay the salaries of 2 county employees who work with them on water resources, and the other is the towns are putting money into stormwater projects that we are working on collaboratively. The 2 columns with the red numbers, that's the amounts that each of the towns are putting in for those efforts. So we calculate the revenue sharing, we take out the amounts that they would have to pay us if we just sent them a check and then billed them for the other things, leaving the net amount. So for Tawnytown or Sykesville, they'll be receiving a check for $214,740. Tawnytown would get $448,010, and Hampstead at $315,129.
Thanks for explaining that. When I first seen that, it was like when you get your paycheck, you see a gross amount and a net amount, so I wasn't sure what was missing, so I appreciate your explanation of that.
So we just need the commissioner's approval for these agreements, and we will send the towns their money.
I'll move the Carroll County Board of Commissioners approve the FY23 town-county agreements with the towns of Sykesville, Hampstead, and Tawnytown.
Second.
Okay, motion second. Any discussion? Seeing here none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. Okay, Scott, bring us home. Let's first talk about the annual maintenance, support, and upkeep agreement with Motorola Solutions.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We have 4 separate agreements to share with you today. I'm going to explain why they are separate. It is nothing new as far as the what's being covered, but there is some additional assets included in the proposed agreement. So we're covering all the same assets the county has, but we're proposing to increase things such as cybersecurity measures, proactive measures that Motorola now offers. The first item, and I do apologize, I believe I have them, Commissioner, in the correct order of the agenda, is the
That's right.
as I have it listed as the county's maintenance, support, and upkeep agreement, with the exception of the logging recorder. Specifically, we're asking to renew the annual maintenance, support, and upkeep agreement with Motorola Solutions to cover multiple components of the county's emergency communication system or network, with one exception this year. And I'll we'll clearly try to explain as to why we've changed something. We have pulled out the NICE logging recorder support out of the overall comprehensive agreement because we anticipate changing that solution this year, and by pulling it out, it would make that far easier to accomplish than trying to prorate a piece of a complicated agreement. Now it's a standalone. Didn't cost the county a dime more to do it that way. The Motorola graciously agreed to do it. So the proposed agreement for basically what we normally would do every year, everything from the microwave system or network to our communications equipment at the respective towers, consoles, immediate response by Hankey's Radio, et cetera, out of Frederick. All of those different levels of support are part of what's proposed at this point. The total cost is $1,450,176.62, which is included in the county's FY23 budget. Not a dime would be spent for this agreement until that budget is in place. This is so that we have a seamless transition to next year. That's why we're here today and not in July. The one thing I want to note is we did add, and I see now that I don't have the individualized cost, delineated cost for that, but we did include a new offering by Motorola, which is a very proactive cybersecurity type resource. They have a NOC, I believe is the right term, out in Schaumburg, and they remotely monitor our system. They do that now, but what they do in response when they have an issue is they basically post like a bulletin and tell us via email or notify us, hey, something is going on, you need to act, which still relies on us to do something. If we don't act, problem goes unresolved. What's proposed is they will now proactively do things. So no matter what they notice what's going on, they will act to mitigate that immediately as well as notify us. So instead of, hey, something's going on, I hope you do something about it, it's something's going on, here's what we've done, and as well as notifying us. So that is included in this $1.45 million proposal. So at this time, Commissioners, I respectfully request that you authorize us to execute the annual agreement for FY23 for our communication system.
I'm just not used to seeing FY23 agreement will be borne by the FY23 budget.
Did I? No.
So we're borning something. So, okay. It must be lawyer words. I don't know.
I'll make the motion the Board of County Commissioners authorize The Director of Public Safety to execute the FY 2023 agreement with Motorola Solutions and approve the payment of the resulting bill is proposed.
Second.
I got a motion and I got a second. Any discussion on this? Seeing here none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 1 down, 3 to go.
Thank you. The next item, as I just explained, we had pulled or removed the data logging recorder out of the agreement you just acted on. Again, because the intent is to change that application to a different vendor, a different solution, which is something that most of our colleagues throughout the state are doing. They found a solution they find much more favorable than our current vendor. And I think that's probably the nicest way I can explain our desire to make a change. Is we found a much more favorable, much more user-friendly solution. The cost, $90,982.80, is exactly what this coverage would have cost. It was included in the agreement you just acted on. We simply pulled it out to make it a standalone agreement so that when the anticipated transition occurs, just this item is affected and the overall comprehensive agreement is unaffected. So I respectfully ask the commissioners authorize us executing that agreement as well as paying the resultant bill.
I make the motion, Board of County Commissioners authorize the Director of Public Safety to execute the proposed agreement with Motorola Solutions and approve the payment of the resulting bill as proposed.
Second.
I got a motion, I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2 for 2.
Thank you. I believe the third item is the CMARC, which stands for Central Maryland Area Regional Communications Radio System. The county has an obligation, a legal obligation, to contribute a jurisdictional share towards the overall cost to support the CMARC regional radio system. That fee, the cost is $65,000. That is paid in one lump sum, that is not paid monthly. It is a budgeted expense. The FY23 budget includes 100% of the necessary funding, so no additional money is needed. I respectfully request the Commissioner's authorization to execute that agreement and make the required payment.
What other counties are included in the Central Maryland Area Regional Communications?
It's the same jurisdictions, I believe, Commissioner, as the Baltimore UASC, and I should have brushed up. Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Carroll, Howard, Anne Arundel. Okay. I don't think Hartford's in it, and possibly the city of Annapolis might be a standalone member. But it is by default, it is the Baltimore UASC Communications Committee.
So this is so all the jurisdictions can communicate with each other during an emergency.
There are other solutions, Commissioner, for that interjurisdictional communications, but we have a legal obligation. We've reviewed this agreement to uphold this contribution. And there are several sites in Carroll County that are part of this. So the county does, in fact, have benefits from this agreement.
And everybody pays the same amount?
That is correct. The jurisdictional payment is an equal share each jurisdiction.
Okay, thank you.
I move that the Board of County Commissioners authorize the Director of Public Safety to execute the reference FY 2023 agreement with Motorola Solutions and approve the payment of the resulting invoice as proposed.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing here none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
You got a good batting average here.
Well, I'd love to go 4 for 4. The last
tough.
agreement.
It's going to be tough to go 4 for 4.
Wishing on a star or something.
He might try to strike you out this time.
This actually has no cost to the county.
Oh, makes it easier.
Yeah.
I forget
This last
Saved it
agreement.
for last.
This last agreement is actually an agreement the county enters into, but the city of Westminster funds. And that is to cover their portion. They have the Westminster Police Department has an enhanced radio capability that other municipalities do not. That's why they contribute to the cost, because other municipalities, just say, for example, Hampstead Police Department, Mount Airy Police Department, they are simply using the system. They talk on our radio system. Westminster actually has a small, but has a dispatch, if you will, a consulate kind of capability. They have an enhanced utilization capability of the radio system than anyone else. That's why Westminster and only Westminster contributes. This agreement is something that the Westminster Police Department and the City of Westminster was graciously agreed to from the time we transitioned to our current digital radio system. And the reason is, if we were to maintain our system at the level that we propose, and Westminster did not maintain theirs at the same level, we'd have a technological disparity there, and eventually they could find themselves incapable of using our system. By them doing this piece, this $28,800 piece, they maintain their piece of the radio system to the very same level we do, which maintains interoperability, same platforms, no issues whatsoever. So they have agreed to do this. Again, since the transition, we went live May of 2015. So what's this, the 7th or 8th year that they have done this? Chief Ledwell, I spoke with him. He was kind enough to share that he did not feel necessary to be here. I believe he's monitoring what's going on today, but I interact with the chief each year when it comes out. As soon as we get a price, share with him. I'm sure he consults with whoever he's required to about the expense. He gives me the approval to proceed. I simply need the commissioner's authorization to do so on their behalf. We take their money, or we receive their money up front, and then we use it to make the monthly installments on their behalf, combined with ours.
Have you increased the amount they put in?
Yes, and that's a great point, Commissioner. This is the first time I've had to ask for concurrence on their piece. It's the first time it's over my delegated authority. Again, that's, I'll say, the annual escalator, but they also have enhanced their level of coverage the same way we have. So it was, for lack of a better way to describe it, there was two causes of the increase. The annual, if they maintain status quo, plus the additional protection they've agreed to go to. So I believe last year was $24,000, $24,000 and something, but was below the $25,000 delegated authority to me as your Director of Public Safety.
That's a great explanation. I was going to ask you to explain in layman terms why this is necessary, but I think you nailed it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know, as with other things that we've come before the board, when you're talking about protection of public safety or welfare and security measures, et cetera, the board has been extremely supportive, which is why we've come forward with these opportunities to enhance that and ask you to continue that support.
Okay, I'll make the motion. The Board of Commissioners authorize the Director of Public Safety to execute the proposed agreement with Motorola Solutions as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Director Campbell.
We'll take care of these.
Okay, let's go into agendas. Actually, excuse me. Anybody on the phone for public comment?
Nobody for public comment today.
Thank you. Do we have anything for open admin on be discussed? Nope. Let's go into agendas.
So you were right at first.
I was.
The public left us.
Public left us.
I like the holiday season.
Okay, Monday, June 27th. We have nothing scheduled, neither do we have on the 28th. On the 29th, MACO Legislative Initiative Subcommittee meeting at the Farm Museum. Okay, I'll be attending. I'm not sure.
That
why.
seems very strange.
That's all right.
It doesn't seem like it should be something Commissioner Rostein's
let's-
attending, and it doesn't sound like it's something that should be
Well,
at the Farm Museum.
the Legislative Initiative Subcommittee, I will be participating in. The Farm Museum, I'm a bit
All right, I'll check on it.
confused, but if we can just check on that, that'd be great. And then MACO has an interim legislative committee meeting where Commissioner Frazier and Wance will be attending, then Planning Commission.
Yeah, can you check the date on that? Because I thought it was the 28th.
Yeah, I think it's been changed.
Change to the 29th? I don't know, but I know I
recently-
remember seeing the 28th,
Yeah.
but whatever. I just needed to know for sure.
And then there's a Planning Commission on the Wednesday, the 29th at 6 p.m. Virtual Commissioner Wance will be attending or participating in. On Thursday, June 30th, we have scheduled open session. First on the agenda will be our Fiscal Recovery Fund update. Should be very interesting. And Ms. Wyndham will be facilitating, I think, that conversation along with Debbie. We have Saturday Transit Pilot, Department of Public Works. See what that's all about. Bid approval for Meadow Branch Road construction prior to the FAA grant application. These are some new to me. Storm drain repair, blacktop purchase, and that'll be it for that Thursday. Friday, we have nothing scheduled. July 2nd, there is a parade down in Sykesville that I'll be participating in.
I'll join in that as well. Thank you.
Okay. Let Freedom Ring Parade. And then Sunday, Commissioner Frazier, you have the podcast. The following week, the office will be closed, government office will be closed in observance of Independence Day. Nothing scheduled on the 5th. On the 6th is Planning Commission with Commissioner Wance at 6 p.m. Something strange.
That's not happening.
Yeah. Okay.
That one's canceled.
Okay, so Wednesday is open. Thursday, July 7th, FY21 Concurrency Management Report. Merger of services provided by Carroll County and Recovery Support Services Facility, led by the Health Department. And then proposed use for not in Carroll funding. And that will be, again, led by DCS and our Health Department. Could be very interesting. Friday, we have nothing scheduled. 9th, we have nothing scheduled. And Commissioner Boucher has the podcast on the 10th. Is there anything that I'm missing at this point? We'll look at the agendas, and if appropriate, we'll maintain them. And if not,
There are more things coming.
we'll be looking at how.
Especially on that second week, there are always more that come. Okay.
Right.
One announcement before you adjourn.
That's hurtful.
Tonight,
Sid-
FPAC, Finksburg Area Planning Council is having a meeting, and I think it's the Commissioner Forum down there. So anybody want to attend, is at
That's right.
Carroll County Library.
Which is the candidates
For District 2.
Oh, it is.
for District 2. So we got,
I was planning to attend.
what are their names?
That's Dave Reese and Kyler, I believe.
Yeah, Kenny Kyler and Dave Reese. Okay. Yep.
The meeting, having a forum that I
Yep.
think in combination with CMC here, so.
Commissioner Frazier, since you're a big advocate of the transportation system, would
drive.
you like, what's that?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Would you like to get an advanced briefing on the Saturday transit pilot? So before they come before us, get some more information on it, so someone on this side of the bench has a deeper understanding of what's coming?
I mean, I'll call and find
All right,
out.
just
I'm
check
pretty sure
on
I
it.
know what's going on.
All right,
but I
you already
will.
briefed on it? Because I don't know what it's about. All right, thanks.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Anything else?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.